Hey everybody, how's it going? It's been some time since I made a video, but I've been busy with the Icon convention on Long Island this past weekend, where a 40K tournament was being held, but I didn't finish my Thousand Suns pre-heresy in time. They're still there, being worked on, so I didn't enter into it. There's another tournament in 2 weeks, and I should have them done by then, no problem. So as I make progress on them, I'll post it. But right now it's Tactica Outnumbered. Grey Knights. Grey Knights are these guys, and I'm talking about a pure Grey Knights force. So not that, just these guys, and Land Raiders. I'm not gonna go too much into like the detail of this codex. It'll take too long to do so. I did a test run just because I don't want to go over time, and I go over time if I try and really get in detail. So pretty much Grey Knights. They're fearless. They have true grit with Storm Bolters, and for the Grey Knight power armor only, pretty much meaning they count as having 2 close combat weapons after the charge. So in the turn they charge, they don't, but every turn after that, they're in close combat, they count as having an additional close combat weapon. So essentially 2 attack space for the standard guy for each thing. They have essentially a Psychic Hood type power that's in every squad. It pretty much is Psychic Hood, but only works if that squad is targeted, so if you target a different squad, they can't use their ability. It represents their anti-psychic and anti-warp that they have. I like it a little bit more than the Witch Hunters one because it's a little bit more definite. Theirs is nice because on a 5 or 6 it just doesn't happen, but on this one it's contested. But with your leadership, being Space Marine leadership so pretty high, you usually have a pretty good chance of nullifying it. So the odds are slightly in your favor. I know it's a contested roll, but the odds are still slightly in your favor. They have the Shrouding, which makes you have to roll 3d6 times 3 to see them. Unless it's knife fighting, then knife fighting takes precedent, which is nice, lets them get in closer. Now, they also have the Nemesis Force Weapon, which is like the symbol of the Grey Knight, if you will. It's a close combat weapon that adds +2 to their strength for regular guys, and that always does it for everybody. Justicars, Terminators, and Brother Captains, it adds +2 to their strength and counts as a power weapon. And for Grandmasters, it does all that and is also a force weapon, which is nice because that means all Terminators have a striking weapon at initiative strength 6 while having a shooting attack, which is nice. And same thing for your Grey Knights normal and power armor. Also, they have a higher weapon skill, so they have a weapon skill of 5 as opposed to normal Space Marines, and their standard weapon for shooting is a Storm Bolter on everybody, which I love. I love Storm Bolters. So you can see here, Storm Bolter. And you can upgrade that to a side cannon or incinerator for squads. They're good upgrades. Take them if you need them. I suggest incinerators. Oops, sorry about that. Incinerators. For dealing with cover and vulnerability saves, it ignores both. And side cannon ignores a vulnerability save at range. Is a strength 6 autocannon. I gotta stop hitting the camera. Sorry. Other than that, there's other upgrades you can take. There's a lot of Wargear. I'm not gonna go into that. If you want to really build a list, look on the forums or buy the codex. Pretty much just the tactics. So what do I mean by pure Grey Knights? Your hero unit, which is Brother Captain. Well, I should say your HQ is considered a Grey Knight hero, which is Brother Captain or Grandmaster. They're in Terminator armor, they can take a Terminator retinue. Then you have Grey Knights in power armor, which are troop choices, or you can take them as a fast attack, so they don't score, but they can deep strike onto the battlefield. That's like their fast attack thing. Other than that, they walk around normally. You can take Grey Knight Terminator squads for elite, and then heavy support is Land Raider Crusader, and the Dreadnought as heavy support for this army. Then the Dreadnought can take the Aegis, which is like that Psychic Hood thing, and he counts as leadership 10, so no bolt of change is he has a chance of not being blown up by bolt of change, stuff like that, which is nice. So how would I play these guys? Well, how I play them is water, because they really are the water army. Your basic squad has to be four guys, 4 power armor guys, and a Justicar. He's required. That right there, I'll tell you, is 150 points for 4 guys. If you make it up to 8, that's 250 points, I think. For 8 guys before upgrades. I could be wrong, but I pretty much think that's the way it is. That's a lot of points. I wouldn't suggest taking them over 8-man strong, only because the points get ridiculous. I mean, if you have extra points left over, like 25 here and there, do it. Taking the other guy, it'll only help you in the long run. So I'd take 2 squads, because you have to take at least 2. You're not going to get more than 3 in like up to a 1750 list. You'd be lucky to get 3 in a 1500 point list. I mean, you could. I shouldn't say you'd be lucky, but in the way I would build a list, the list I have for them that I theory hammered, that I like, has two choices in 1500, and the third one is 1750, I think. Again, I'm bad at this. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I suggest the Grandmaster. There is Brother Captain Stern, who's a special character who I won't get into because he has special rules. He has 2 wounds though, and counts as a Grandmaster for his weapon, so he counts as having a force weapon. But again, I'm not talking about special characters here because these are the old way of doing special characters, so they're not like pushing for you to take them like they are now. Anyway, this is a generic list, so I would suggest the Grandmaster. He's expensive compared to the Brother Captain, but he's wounded or whatever, however you say that. Which is good, because even though he has a 2+ save and you can give him a 4+ invo, he's still, you don't want to lose him to a random roll of a 1. Because, for 1 wound. So I suggest multi-wound. I don't suggest taking a Terminator squad only because they're expensive, and your HQ, which you have to take, can take a Terminator retinue. So right, that's like your quasi Terminator squad. You don't really save points, but you just take them there, 4 Terminators there, upgrades as you see fit, including the Holocaust psychic power if you want it, which Terminators can take a psychic power called Holocaust. Read it if you want to know more about it. So yeah, what I would do is I would take a Grandmaster, upgrade them however you want, a retinue of Terminators, 2 Grey Knights squads, and 2 Land Raiders, and then expand upon the list from there. I would take a Land Raider and a Land Raider Crusader, only because the Land Raider Crusader is equally feared, and for anti-horde purposes, or just take 2 Land Raiders if you want. Never 2 Crusaders, in my opinion, for this army, because they have enough anti-horde and anti-infantry, I should say. They don't have a lot of anti-tank at range, so you want those last cannons. So at least 1 Land Raider, if not 2. Well, 2, but at least 1 being a regular Land Raider, if not both of them. And then play it water style. Maximize your movement and shooting. You're not going to lose anything by moving. You have an assault weapon as a shooting weapon. The Stormbolter for shooting. Use it. Whittle them down with that, with your special weapons like Psycan or Incinerators. Whittle them down with your Land Raiders, tank shock things that, your Land Raider if necessary. Whittle them down and then move in for the kill with your assault. Your assault should be your killing blow, your final straw that destroys the enemy. Remember, you're small. 16 men, essentially 1,500 points. 2 squads, 8 men apiece to take objectives. Keep them alive. Don't be afraid to run them away from stuff. Move forward, shoot, and then run back and shoot. Shoot a lot, assault if you need to finish them off. Take the objective. Hold the objective, use your Terminator, your HQ and Terminator and your Land Raiders to finish off the army, the enemy's army, or hold them back as you claim objectives, or spearhead through, assault them hard, hit them hard with everything you've got, shooting and assault, and then take the objectives. So, and being water, you'll flow with the battle. So yeah, that's pretty much how I view them. They're really good, but I suggest maximizing both their shooting potential, which is very high, and their assault potential, which is very high. Until next time, take it easy.